Hello, this is Julie Young with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We're here today to talk with candidates running in the November 5th, 2024 general election. We're grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the League of Women Voters of Portland Education Fund, the Weiss Foundation, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me is Tom Busse, running for Oregon House of Representatives District 33, which is generally Northwest Portland. Welcome, Mr. Busse. I'm sorry, Mr. Busse.
Welcome, Julie, and thank you so much. I really appreciate all the stuff that your organization does.
Please tell us a little about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Yeah, so I've been in government and nonprofit accounting and budgeting for about 20 years. Part of that, I was actually a professional classical musician with the San Francisco Opera. And I learned about this district when Maxine Dexter took a whole bunch of money from APAC and there was an open seat and I was living here. I looked at the Democratic nominees and I thought I was just underwhelmed. I felt that when we have a supermajority in the legislature, you get a lot of corruption, you get a lot of pay to play. They spent over $600,000 on an open seat for a job that pays $31,000 a year. And after that, I was a delegate to the Libertarian Party National Convention, and I was just amazed by the activism and the energy there. And the state party chairman asked me to run. And he said, you really know policy. So I said, yeah, I know budgets. I worked at the Oregon Health Authority. I can fix this state. So I put my head into the race.
Thank you. So what changes, if any, would you make to support the state in addressing the issue of climate change? And please explain.
The first thing I would do is I would urge the city of Portland to take their PSEF fund and build a downtown Portland rail tunnel. I don't believe the technology is there yet to impose an automobile ban on gas engines. I would say we should pull back and wait for the development of new technology because we're only 0.57% of the world's population and 2% of the world's carbon emissions, depending on how you measure that. One thing I want to introduce immediately is the Defend the Guard Act, because believe it or not, the US military is the #1 emitter of emissions on this planet. And we are sending the Oregon National Guard using countless amounts of jet fuel halfway across the globe for undeclared foreign wars. So that would be my priority.
Thank you. Do you support the elimination or modification of the Oregon kicker? Yes or no? And why or why not?
Well, the Oregon kicker is not a tax refund or a tax rebate. It's just a tax deferment. We have a looming unfunded liability public pension crisis in this state that has been created by years and years of bad policy. And that's not going to be fixed by Democrats who are endorsed by the public sector unions. So therefore, what I would propose is taking any excess tax revenue that is currently refunded to the voters and putting it toward those unfunded liabilities so the Democrats don't just get dollar signs in their eyes and spend it on ineffective programs, which they have been doing for years.
Thank you. You're listening to the Video Voters Guide interview and podcast of Tom Busse, who is running for Oregon State Representative District 33. And we'll continue with questions. What role do you believe the state legislature should play in increasing the housing supply in Oregon?
There is a housing crisis, but it's created by Wall Street and it's created by monetary policy. So we have to address it through state-level monetary policy. I would look at public banking and create a window guidance mechanism that would make favorable and easy credit available to developers to build housing at affordable price points. The other thing is I would start a conversation. I'm not going to accomplish this in 2 years. I don't have the time to do it. It's a long-term goal. But to start talking about a land value tax instead of a property tax. That worked in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's being talked about in Detroit. It is the ideal tax, and it will be the ultimate solution to meeting our housing needs.
Thank you for your answer. Now, please comment on any actions you would consider to address the concerns related to the critical energy infrastructure hub on the Willamette River.
I'm so glad you asked that, and it's related to a very passionate issue of mine, which is the Portland Harbor Superfund site, both of which are walkable to where I am sitting right now, and both of which are inside this district. And there has been inaction on this issue. What I would say is, first, we can look at insurance mechanisms to ensure that the owners of those facilities cannot get insurance unless they make the capital investments to seismically retrofit them. The other thing I would look at is, I don't support the current DEQ cap and trade program, but we can give them credit against that program if they make the changes that they need to make, because quite frankly, if there's an environmental disaster there, it impacts me. I'm exposed to hydrocarbons. I don't want that to happen.
Thank you. Would you support or oppose the creation of an independent redistricting commission to redraw state and congressional election districts? Please explain your answer.
Absolutely. I saw this work in California, and I don't think I need to explain it. We all understand gerrymandering is bad.
Okay, thank you. So what approaches and priorities would you use to shape the next state budget?
The first thing I would look at is fixing public defense, and I have outlined on my website a concrete plan about how to do that via the budget process, which is called a fiscal alignment. The second thing I would do is I would look at healthcare waste, which I observed constantly at the Oregon Health Authority. I call it the Oregon Wealth Authority, actually. I can get you $500 million of savings immediately simply by reforming a program called 340B. I am a budget nerd. I called out fiscal fraud at the San Francisco Community College bus district in 2017, leading to the resignation of the chancellor. I know how to read balance sheets. I know how to fix budgets.
Thank you, Mr. Busse. Our time is up for questions. And this concludes our video voters guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland with Tom Busse, running for Oregon House of Representatives, District 33. Election day is Tuesday, November 15th. Please be sure to inform yourself about the candidates and exercise your right to vote. And thank you for your interest.